What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Pokemon Legends Arceus trailer, as well as all other information that we have on the game so far. Yep, made a different intro for this game. This is coming out early 2022. Most likely we're going to hear very little about it until the Diamond and Pearl remakes actually get released this year, because that's typically what they like to do. They like to focus on their one main game at a time. It should also be noted that it appears as though this game is actually being made by the Pokemon Company, developed by Creatures Inc. So this is a much more in-house project than the Diamond and Pearl remakes going on. And there's a lot of things that we need to talk about here, because this is the thing that everyone has been asking for a long time, and now it's finally happening. It's essentially Pokemon Breath of the Wild. The question is how much it is. We're not really too sure. We also have some additional footage or screen caps, and they're weird, and I'm gonna go over that as well. First, on the website, there's actually a few little pieces of information here that I want to address before we actually look at the trailer. It's branded as a new action game with RPG elements, and from what we've seen in the trailer, you're gonna be running around, you're gonna be crouching, you're gonna be actively playing the game. It's not like, you know, a solid walking around and do things. I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered. There's a lot of thoughts going on. You need to catch, survey, and research wild Pokemon in a long gone era of the Sinnoh region to create and complete the region's first Pokedex. This is the trainers. They're ninjas or something. To catch a Pokemon in Legends Arceus, you can observe them to learn their behavior, then carefully sneak up, aim your ball, and let it fly. You can also have your ally Pokemon battle wild Pokemon that you hope to catch. Just throw the Pokeball holding your ally Pokemon near a wild Pokemon, and you'll seamlessly enter battle and command your Pokemon by choosing from moves it knows. During the trailer reaction video that I put out, I was a little confused as to what was going on here, because in the trailer here we have a wild Garchomp, and here we have our Gallade. We have 6 Pokemon, we have some moves going on, and we're level 70, so this is some pretty advanced going on here, and you can see false swipe there, so, you know, obviously this is a catcher. But then early in the trailer, we just walk up to a Shinx and throw our ball at it and catch it. So I was like, do we have to? And now it looks like it's an option. And weaker, basic, low-level Pokemon, we can just throw our ball. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of, you know, user interface that's going to show us what's going on with that, as opposed to the much more evolved and advanced Pokemon that we're like, oh, well, we probably just can't catch this by throwing a Pokeball at it. You'll be brought to the Sinnoh region, the setting of the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl games, but the story unfolds in a long-gone era before ideas such as being a Pokemon trainer or having a Pokemon League even existed. So it's a question is, you know, what are you actually doing in the game besides making a Pokedex? All around, you'll find Pokemon living in harsh environments that make for a Sinnoh unlike the region you may remember from the days of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Here we see the mountain and the beach. I need to talk about the art style and some Bidoofs. I don't think this is in the trailer, so this is an exclusive screenshot. And here we have the old balls. What I think are the old balls. It says the Pokeballs of old were apparently built a little differently from the ones that we know so well. They were made mostly of wood and steam puffed from their tops when Pokemon were caught, which makes sense because, you know, before the Silph were around to make Pokeballs and, you know, all digital and stuff, how did they work? And it looks like we have this little clasp here. And in the video, it actually looked as though it was similar to the old ball. The old ball is just something that I know about from the Celebi movie. It's the original version of the Pokeball that serves as a precursor. It was used by Sammy. The Pokeball is able to release Pokemon by unscrewing the red lid on the top, and it seems to only work by holding it away from the trainer. So that's the old ball as opposed to what we're looking at here. And in the trailer, when we caught the Shinx, it did like a little puff of smoke and it almost looked like a thumbs up, so I thought that was neat. You also get to choose your partner Pokemon. Rowlet from Alola, Cyndaquil from Johto, and Oshawott from whatever game he's from. These 3 Pokemon arrive with a professor, and it makes sense because these aren't the starters of the region. You need to go and you need to hunt down what starting Pokemon of this region is going to be native there. So it does make sense that way if you think about it. Unova, that's where Oshawott's from. And as far as the website goes, that's pretty much it. I did want to address the ball and the starting Pokemon. One of my favorite references to Arceus in pop culture would be from the TV show House. Gold. I love House. I watched the Japanese trailer a few times and there's nothing different as opposed to the American trailer. I also looked at the Twitter and it doesn't seem like there's anything here that we're not going to be covering later. So let's hop right into this on full screen. Of course, there's no audio and we are going to be playing back at half speed. And at the very beginning, we can see two of the old balls over here, which are very much so made of wood. As you can see, the wood grain on the bottom. And while we're looking at these old balls, insert Adam Sandler Big Daddy clip right here. It would also make sense that, you know, since they're not digital, they don't have the ability to shrink down. So they're going to remain full size all the time, which is kind of neat. We can see a few notebooks over here that open from the right instead of the left. Maybe that's a Japan thing. I don't know. Haven't read a Japanese book yet. And we see this beautiful, simple, like etching drawing of the town, maybe even based off of like the original art concepts that they did internally. And then we have some feel and some Primplup, right? Primplup over here on the beach. And then we have a picture of the mountain. And then this is where it transitions into actual gameplay. Okay, a lot of things we need to talk about. The color palette is like a modified Breath of the Wild. They're doing a lot with the fog that's going on, which is, you know, making the outside areas seem more distant than they are. And actually, because, you know, you don't need to render anything over there if it's all in fog. Something concerning is that there's no trees anywhere. Do keep in mind this is super developmental footage. The grass does look good. It looks sparse. And it also seems like we have varied grass everywhere. So there's a little bit of grass here, very short, very sporadic. And then there's this over panning shot. And there's just something weird going on with the visuals. And the one thing I could really put it down to is called over sharpening. And that's when you take an image and you over sharpen it more and more and more. If you have Photoshop, you could sharpen that. If you have OBS, you could sharpen it. Actually, I could probably show you exactly what it looks like. Once I start to over sharpen things, it over accents all of the edges and then they start to look too crisp. So that can happen from over sharpening. So like without sharpening, with sharpening, that's like max. So you'd probably want to land like around there. But you can see exactly how different that is when you start doing sharpening. And that can literally just be, you know, their art style, they're still on the fence about it and how much sharpening they want to do and overall game stability, you know? This area does look a little barren and this path is a little We have a small little bridge over here, which makes you wonder, you know, if this area is so unexplored, who built this bridge? And it's a pan down from the camera, so it's most likely a cutscene while leaving a town or something. Okay, all right, this is this is what I was confused by, because this almost looks like the Mystery Dungeon graphics, which sort of had a Winnie the Pooh theme going on. What is this grass? What is this? This doesn't look like grass. This doesn't look like grass near a shore. I kind of get what they're going for. They have much better grass later on. I'll give them that. The tree looks all right. I mean, it looks like a dead tree slash driftwood. And then even in the super back, we can see some trees over there, different trees over here. So I like that they have, you know, some variation going on. And it might have to be with how the light is hitting this Primplup right now. Double check. Primplup's the evolution. Sorry. Piplup. Sorry, again, didn't play this game. Piplup is down here. And we have the light existing here, shining this way, hitting that part of his head, and casting the shadow this way. So they're using actual like lighting going on, and it looks like we may have a day-night cycle in addition to that. We also need to talk about these Bidoofs, because this, I really hope this is just developmental issues going on. These do not look good. They're stuttering. So I'm now bringing it back to full speed. And these Bidoofs aren't the worst at what's going on here. They really aren't. There's another point in the trailer that it's much, much worse, and I'm gonna point out exactly where that is. And again, may come down to developmental stuff. It may be the actual hardware is having a hard time running this. Ignoring that, and pretending that this is gonna operate at a smooth 30 FPS, because there's no way they're gonna run this at 60 if Breath of the Wild struggled to be 30. This is like a pretty nice expansive area. In addition, it does seem like we are able to venture pretty much everywhere, which is a strange yet comforting change of pace. In this next scene, we have the trainer running out of the town, and the town itself looks very unfinished. Like all the houses look exactly the same. You have this one path that's a little you know, unfinished here in the middle. I think they really want to get this out for proof of concept to show what's really going on. This scene is where this over sharpening really starts to look rough. Like if you look at the trainer, this could actually benefit from having some black outlines going on, because you see all this white here. That's what happens from the over sharpening. So they may still end up doing black outlines, at least on the trainer or the Pokemon or something. Like if you look at this rock, how harsh of a line that is, they're gonna work on something. They're gonna work on the shaders, they're gonna work on the shadows, because if they put it out like this, oh, there's gonna be some controversy, that's for sure. We have our first look at the female trainer from the front. And now this is the much better looking grass. We have some grass over here. We have grass over here. We have these torches from Breath of the Wild just chilling in the background. And this grass looks pretty great. It looks to be swaying in the wind. You get to hop forward. There's some shinxes over here, 2 of them. Now we're gonna throw the ball. It doesn't look like the ball ever changes size. It's just one solid size. I assume there's going to be some sort of a user interface that's going to show you exactly, you know, where you're gonna be able to throw that. It hopped once. And then the little puff of smoke at the top, it clearly looks like a thumbs up. Okay, here it is. There's the real Lou. That's where we start to see those frame issues happening. Like, I don't know if that was just that attack animation or specifically what's going on, but that was rough. We have a Pokeball being thrown at a Rhyhorn. Again, we have no idea what's going to be the difference between a Pokemon that's going to require you to battle it before you do anything else. But let's just for a second look at the sheer scope of what's going on right here. We're on a hill and there's this down path over here, over this bridge. You could probably walk through all of this area. So like, what's going on here? Is this entire area going to be populated? Are you going to have to go around and catch a bunch of these Pokemon? How this ties into you really establishing the Pokedex is yet to be, you know, even fathomed. And to be honest with you, this leaked, this gameplay or segments of this gameplay, and I thought it was fake. I thought it was 100% fake, because my exact words when I was speaking to a few creator friends of mine was, this looks too good to be true. And you know what? Who was expecting this? Oh, the Chingling? This thing is moving at 1 FPS. Yeah, look at that hop. That's not how Pokemon's supposed to look. I don't know. I'm so on the fence about what they're doing with this art style that it looks great and not great all at the same time. I'm starting to think that when the player is crouched, the Pokemon are like immune to seeing it. So like, is this like when you're playing a Bethesda game and you're crouching, now you're in stealth mode and he can't see you? This guy right here can't see you because you're crouching? Is that how that works? We have Garchomp attacking the Gallade that we saw the user interface for on the website. And again, with the trees, like, yes, they look better than just having giant blobs. But as far as what's going on with them moving and swaying and having the cutouts of the leaves, and then if you look to this background, what's going on with those? I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of inconsistencies with how everything looks. Oh, that's it. The Badoo. The Badoo is really bad. Yeah, look at him. Just like awkwardly like bobbing left and right like that. What I have to say about everything that we've seen in this trailer is they have a lot of time to improve upon this. I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing to improve upon it, but I can't wait to see how it's going to be better. This needs a high level of polish. And it's nice to know that, you know, they don't have the teams separated in between 2 different projects right now. Like, you don't have people actively working on the other game. Instead, that's an entire different development studio. So, I don't know. They have a long road to go. We also have no idea how Arceus is actually going to be playing into the story. If it's the bad guy or if it's like a whole concept of how you play through the story. So, that's yet to be seen. The end is just Arceus in super high resolution. But yeah, this is, it's weird because it's almost like, here's Breath of the Wild, and then the other game that they're making is like Link's Awakening. It's cute and pretty and easily approachable, and then this one seems like, you know, the more advanced game. What's gonna be neat though is you're gonna have 2 different ways to shiny hunt Pokemon of the same region. Wonder if there are, I mean, there has to be shiny Pokemon. They wouldn't not put shiny Pokemon in. And since this doesn't have a Pokemon League or anything, it's a question of what they're gonna do for competitive. You know, there's no stadiums. This is all undeveloped area. There's a lot of time before this game comes out. It's probably more than a year away honestly, if we're thinking about it. Anytime that they release like a powerhouse Nintendo game, they usually like to do it close to the end of the first quarter, or, you know, beginning of March at the earliest. I do like the way the leaves and the grass actually sway in the wind, and the lighting. The lighting is pretty good. You have some clouds going over the grass, but like that Chingling, that's Chingling, right? It's really bad. The Bidoof is actually animated pretty well. I'm not mad at him. And getting to the Pokemon 25 announcement, when we start to hear more about the actual game. And it appears as though the only unique footage is this actual battle screen that we have the screenshot of on the website with Slash, False Swipe, Close Combat, Aerial Ace, Gallade down here, level 70, and Garchomp over here. But like, okay, let's look at this backdrop, because it did say that you're seamlessly going to be entering into battle. That means that there isn't a battle screen. Instead, you're just going into it. And this looks good. I like this. There's this weird effect with the leaves when you do this pause from the over sharpening, and it can kind of mess with your eyes if you stare at it. And then, oh, look, the over sharpening, how you get those lines coming up. So yeah, they just need to fix that. They need to fix the frame rate on some of these Pokemon. They need to make the area not look so abandoned. But I really strongly, wholeheartedly feel as though they just put this out because they wanted to show you what they're working on. While looking over the footage, I noticed that inside of the house, you have this sort of like, I don't know, little mayoral looking desk here. And you have this logo that appears, and I also believe this is on the trainer's outfit, on the sleeve. Yeah, right here. I mean, it definitely reminds you of the Team Galactic logo a little bit. So it's a question of whether or not this Team Galactic has actually something to do with this early episode. And now we're getting into a few things that are unofficial, but seem to coincide with some now accurate leaks. So someone on the Twitter by the name of Eclipse_TT, who apparently follows me, so thanks Eclipse, they actually posted this clip about 2 hours before the Pokemon Presents. 3.5 hours before it happened. So, you know, a fair amount of time. Where he got this from, I'm not really too sure. This is the video clip that I saw and I immediately dismissed because I was like, why are we going to hear about a game that comes out in 22? And also, it looks too good to be a Pokemon game. But no, this was accurate. And also, you know, it's a phone taking a video of a monitor. We have some images from here that seem a little weird and also internal. And mostly down here, and we have some zoom ups of this. Apparently, you're going to be able to climb a hill, a mountain. We have a little bit of a look at the interface, but it's so blurry and so difficult to see. Over here, it appears as though the trainer is riding a Pokemon. It's unclear of what Pokemon it is with those long antlers going on, and more of the user interface, but again, still too low of resolution to see anything. We have an image of the trainer rolling, creeping, and throwing a Pokeball. And then also, right here, if I had to put money on something, I would say that's a Corviknight ride. So are you going to be able to call Corviknight and just like fly around? Because that's kind of dope. In addition, there is this one piece of media that is actually from Centro Leaks. I'm unable to track it back further than that. And I'm not really too sure what's going on here with this apparently tap A and something else. Maybe that's a prompt for you to pull out your Pokemon? No idea. But this looks super interesting that there's almost sort of this boss meter, and I don't know what this is. This could literally be a Pokemon in the middle of an attack or who is being attacked. It could be Thundurus, Landorus, something like that. Maybe it's someone just literally hopping. This could be an unannounced Pokemon. What is this? You know, no idea right now. This could be a spoiler. But if so, I have no idea what kind of spoiler it is. And yeah, that is by far and large all of the information I've been able to get on what is going on here with this Legend game. Also, one little last piece of information. This is apparently a Canon Game. This is a mainline RPG game in the same vein as like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was. So it's not a new region or anything else. It's just a different entry. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to this. This seems weird, interesting, and a breath of fresh air. But hey, only time will tell, right? Let's see if they can, you know, fix things up, get the Pokemon to move at more than 3 FPS, and then we'll be good. But I want to know what you think about Pokemon Legends Arceus. Leave a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.